Hello and welcome back to the board. I'm the Gav Major and this is WoWs Weekly. WoWs Weekly is the weekly news video covering news in the game in the week past, in the week coming up, and also a place where I can do some speculations and cover off some of the channel admin, I guess you could say. Well, first of all, I guess obviously the big news that has come out since last week's WoWs Weekly is obviously carriers coming soon. Now you probably already have seen my video regarding it being expected to be a test event, and that'll be carded top right now. And that does contain some information there. Basically, it is now confirmed to be a test event based on the aircraft carrier first to fly sign up form. There will be a link in the description. Basically, it's a form in order to have a chance of having access to an aircraft carrier right off the bat from when the testing starts. And all you need to do to enter this is obviously enter in your gamer tag, which console you play on, and what's your likelihood of being able to play carriers pretty much straight away. Now, or if you're interested, it should say. However, if you're filling this form and you're not interested in playing aircraft carriers, then wow, either you're just trying to game it a little bit to try and get some accommodations, or you're probably not going to get accepted in all honesty. Now, I'll have it flash up as a picture in the background, but basically there's a couple of caveats. There are two phases to the upcoming test event. There's a chance for you to receive a carrier during either of them. So basically that confirms in the next patch there will be two test events at least. So it's a 5-week patch. We know that they wanted to do testing between 2 and 3 weeks. So it potentially, I guess, worst case, I guess you could say, or best case, depending on your point of view, it's going to be 2 single weeks of testing. So out of the whole patch, there'll be just 2 weeks of aircraft carrier testing, probably spaced apart. Alternatively, it could be 2 sets of 2 weeks with a week break in the middle. So, but it definitely confirms it is a test event coming, and there are going to be some test phases, and it's going to be broken down. Now it says to see whether you've been chosen, check your mission tab at the start of each phase. If you have been chosen, there will be one of the following random missions: IGN CV3, IGN CV5, USN CV3, USN CV5, denoting which carrier you'll be able to get. So this is basically confirmation that in addition to the Langley and the Rugio that we know are available as well, shown in the teaser trailer, this is also confirmation that there will be the Hosho and the Ranger coming as part of this testing, which is very, very interesting. Now, going over some of the pros and cons, because obviously we haven't covered off the Hosho and the Ranger. So let's start off with the Hosho. So the pros of the Hosho are that she is slightly stealthier by sea in comparison to the Langley, and she does have powerful propulsion, therefore she actually has sufficient speed to keep up with the majority of the team. However, the cons are that she is more visible from the air compared to the Langley, and that her torpedo squadron only drop a single torpedo at a time. So that's quite interesting. However, it is worth noting that those torpedoes are higher damage, so it's kind of like trade-off. Got higher damage torpedoes, but you can only drop one per attack. However, that could be all subject to change. This is just looking at some of the information that we do have on PC. Going on to the Ranger, and the pros and cons of the Ranger are that she has good plane health pool. So obviously, got to remember that her Ranger is now tier 5. Potentially quite good HE bombs as well, being quite effective. Better top speed of the carrier itself, allowing her to easily reposition, which is quite nice. She has a good anti-aircraft suite as well. However, the cons are the high detection radius, which means that good positioning will be quite critical to the ship. She also has a very weak armor, so another carrier with weak armor. However, she can be quite extremely clumsy to maneuver with a long rudder shift and a large turning circle as well. When it comes to aircraft, you can expect to have slow torpedoes and also slow aircraft, especially in comparison to the Rugio. And you don't have a lot of self-defense artillery is the best way to put it. So it's interesting to see that we will be getting 4 aircraft carriers as part of the testing phase in 2 test phases, whether it will be broken down by tiers, such as tier 3 testing for one test phase and tier 5 testing for another phase, whether it would be national, Japanese one phase and American another, but it's interesting to see that there's more there than we initially anticipated. Also 2 test phases, and that's, I guess, it's decent, a decent step in the direction. Maybe they plan to make changes between the 2 test phases. Maybe not. It all depends what they're going to be doing. Obviously, patch notes expected later today. Now, obviously, I'd expect them to remove the ships from your port after the end of the test phase. Now, this leads us on to another point. Commanders. It looks like there is at least going to be one Japanese and one American aircraft carrier commander, which will be granted to you if when you successfully get an aircraft carrier, either through this first to fly application or through the other missions. We'll come back to those other missions. If you get an aircraft carrier from the first to fly sign up form, then you will be gifted a rank 16 legendary 1 commander for that nation aircraft carrier. However, please note these commanders will be removed at the end of the test phase. However, if you're a normal player who receives the aircraft carrier through completing the missions, then you will receive a rank 16 legendary 4 commander, basically a fully ranked up commander. So here, this is another interesting one. So they're testing these carriers by giving us fully upgraded commanders. Therefore, they can get a complete appreciation of the fully upgraded commander skills, which I think is actually a really good step in the right direction at least. Now, the other interesting one is obviously those commanders are going to be removed at the end of the test phase, but it does mean that you don't need to invest anything into these commanders. Unless you get one from the first to fly form, then potentially you could, but you probably wouldn't bother. However, if you get a carrier from the first to fly form, and you then later unlock one from the missions, then you will receive 2 universal commendations instead. I believe they're universal. It doesn't necessarily say, it just says 2 commendations. However, that also then confirms that aircraft carriers will be available by completing missions. So it does say here that if you don't get to receive an aircraft carrier by filling this form, simply complete the missions available to everyone. So everyone gets to test these if they want to receive either of the carriers. Either. So that also implies that the testing will be for 2 carriers per phase. Now that's me really picking this apart and taking every word, but however, take this with a lot of pinch of salt. If it's not written down there and it's just some speculation from me, then take that with a pinch of salt. However, as I said, the form will be linked down below. Now, when it comes to anything else regarding the game, obviously we have the patch notes coming out today. If the patch notes and the patch trailer is out, patch trailer will be carded top right now, also on the end screen. And if the patch notes are out, then they will be in a pinned comment down below with a link to the patch notes in the English language. If you have any other choice of language, then you can change the language at that web page. So in regards to obviously discussing what's coming up, well, we don't know much more. I'm not going to go on about that. Week past, not really much to talk about either, in all honesty. So let's go on to a little bit of speculations. It's potentially hinted that aircraft carrier testing may start straight off the bat on Monday. It's only a speculation though. Another speculation is that the next tech tree split is very likely going to be Royal Navy heavy cruisers, judging by the general feel that we're getting. When that's going to be, we don't know, but it definitely looks like that is the next one lined up, which is, to be honest, what we expected, considering we've had the American cruisers, we've had the Japanese destroyers. The next one that makes sense is the Royal Navy heavy cruisers before we get anything like the American battleships or anything like that. But it's good to have that kind of confirmation that we kind of know that is the next one that's coming along. In regards to the channel news, I it's been a bit scary, I guess you could say, for the past week, in all honesty, considering that the video that I did last week in regards to the aircraft carrier test event reached 10,000 views. That's a lot. Um, but then again, I guess I got out there quick, and I gave what information I knew, and I think a lot of you have been very thirsty for any information that you can find, and even if it is just me just connecting the dots and doing a bit of speculation, whether that's added some comfort or has even helped, but I'd say thank you. I'm really outstanding, and I'm not going to say anything yet because obviously everything's all subject to change. But we are at slash about, give or take, 1,000 subs, which is really amazing. I'd say thank you to everyone. I know that WoWs Weekly is very much usually watched by the subscribers, so I'd like to say thank you guys. Thank you. As and when things do move on with the channel, like once I get the community and tab and stuff like that, and once we've kind of settled in at a certain sub number that I'm happy with, because obviously being right on 1,000 or just below 1,000 or just above 1,000, it's all a bit give and take. Once we're a bit more settled, then I have the community tab, then I will look at doing a Q&A session with you guys. However, as always, tonight will be a live stream regarding the patch notes, should the patch notes actually come out on time. Obviously, tomorrow we'll have a gameplay live stream as well, and we'll have to see what goes on Monday, but potentially we could have one, maybe two live streams. I have obviously made a submission for the first to fly application form. If I do get an aircraft carrier straight off the bat, you can very much expect me to live stream it, and I'll probably call the live stream aircraft carrier noob, because let's be honest, it's the first time I've ever played one. I'm gonna be a noob. I think everyone is going to be a noob in an aircraft carrier unless you've played carriers before on the PC, but then again, it's a different interface, different mechanics, how similar it's going to be, but then again, there's going to be quite a lot of transferable skills at the same time. Well, I'd like to say thank you to everyone, and if you have enjoyed this WoWs Weekly, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, although most of you are the subscribers, and again, I'd like to say thank you. If you want to support the channel on Patreon, then the link will be down in the description, as this is a non-monetized channel, and I'm not going to monetize this channel in any way. If you want to send in any of your own game captures for our community spotlight video, then also the email address is down below. Until next time, I'm the Gav Major, and back to the port.